One of the important facets of the design for Antigone is to use the design element of scale and to use it to our advantage to help the storytelling and to help create a sense of ominous presence in the theater. And so we've got these walls that are 24 foot tall and just absolutely ginormous, huge in this space. So when you sit in the audience and you see this facade that's lingering over, and then we've got this deck that shoots out into the audience with these larger than life walls, it really creates a powerful presence in the space. We've had a great time with this show, with Antigone, really trying to focus on the voice and how to really send the voice out into the audience, just as we would in a Greek amphitheater thousands of years ago. So by using classical Greek architecture mixed with neoclassical architecture from the Third Reich, we've created our version of this speaker box that sends the voice right out to you.
I decided to pull apart the character of Antigone and the character of Creon. Greek tragedy is often, it's so huge that it felt like being able to pull apart some of the archetypes of these characters would really help create more dramatic tension. So in order to do that, we're following Sigmund Freud's model for the id, the ego, and the superego. So I've cast Antigone as Antigone's id, Antigone's ego, and her superego, and Creon as Creon's id, ego, and superego. Antigone's id and Creon's id, those characters are going to be responding based on impulse. They're kind of the kid in the candy store that has to have that piece of candy. Where Antigone's ego and Creon's ego, that's the part of these characters' psyches that is going to balance between kind of the id and the superego. They also might be considered to be the most human part of each one of these characters. And then lastly, we have Antigone and Creon's superego. This is the part of the psyche that connects with the gods, connects with justice, with law, with what might be deemed as good or right.
For Creon ego, which is the Creon that everyone is seeing, he has this big long cape that sort of billows behind him when he walks, making him the focal point of that Creon group, because he's the one that everyone in the cast is seeing and interacting with. And I think it gives him a real sense of power. Creon id is much more of a soldier type, so he has combat boots rather than the dress boots, and a shorter coat that's a little bit more like the guards. There's a sense with Creon id that he's going to step in and solve all of his problems with violence. And Creon superego is more of the elder statesman, and so he doesn't need the big ostentatious cape that Creon ego is wearing. But he does have the longer jacket, which is more of the officer look than the foot soldier look. With Antigone, I had a bit more play for color. She's sort of the spark that gets everything in this play going. The three parts of her are the colors of a flame. So Antigone ego is sort of an orange color, Antigone superego is yellow, and Antigone id is red. And all of them have an ombre dye in their skirts that sort of make the color of flame even more apparent.
As the lighting designer, I developed a plan to support each character with their own quality of light. And Antigone is represented by this low, slow-burning, passionate firelight, and Creon is represented by this brutal, blasting, no-color light that's coming from a higher position on the stage and blowing through Antigone's low light.
The play is filled with strong characters, with impassioned positions and impassioned voices. And so we're using video as a way to continue to splay their energy even farther than themselves and farther than their own body and voice. Aesthetically, we're using the visual components of the elements, wind, water, earth, fire, as a way to kind of express those emotions. When they're incredibly angry, it will be fiery. When they are emotionally wailing, it will appear as seeping water. So Brandy brought up this image to Lisa, and we were really excited by the foreground and background play of light. we realized that in the foreground, Brandy can be really cutting with the light, and in the background, I can be using the clouds and the darkness of the space to be giving a second side of the story.